All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the Dream League Season 11 Major Finals. NIP versus Fnatic, game number 2. Our first match in this best of 3 was an epic opener, Mega on Mega, a comeback at that. And we are back once again to see what will happen in game 2. Can Fnatic take this 2-0, or will NIP bring it back for an ace match? Only time will tell. And I'm Zyori, joined again by Mr. Trent.
Yeah, I'm just watching the Gabriel versus Lucic fight last night in the Edmonton versus New Jersey game, and I feel it looks a lot like last game. You know, it's just a bunch of swings back and forth, and eventually someone's deemed a winner. We're not really sure who played better, who really had the right idea. Obviously, Fnatic took the win, but it sure was close going both ways. So we'll give them the victory there in the old ring of fighting. They had got some more Jersey jabs in there, I guess, and they're gonna start with the Pango here, which has got to be the Fnatic classic, honestly, or any team that has ice on it, I suppose.
Yep. Now, are there any concerns about opening Pango? Are there any go-to counters that you worry about in this kind of a situation?
Puck's pretty nasty because you can't do anything. If you are coiled, you can't use your swashbuckle. You can't use your ulti. I don't even think you can shield crash. You're just stuck. Maybe you can shield crash, but it doesn't do anything. You're just stuck. You're leashed, tethered. It's very frustrating.
Yep.
But they really wanted that Ember again, and I really can't blame NIP. I would say that Ace was probably the standout in that last game.
I mean, after 75 minutes, I think his first death was somewhere at like 30 minutes or something. He was like 10-0, and he had an incredible run in that early game when things weren't easy for NIP, right? That's the thing you have to remember. They were decently behind for the first 5-10 minutes or so. Their mid lane was kind of non-existent. That was Fnatic's mid lane, but their top lane was kind of non-existent.
Yeah.
So it was all on Ace, and he really helped carry them through that mid game without really making any noticeable mistakes. It wasn't until like the level 25 on Viper came out and they had a Hex and all those other things until Ember started taking a few tumbles.
This is a little unusual, though. A Tusk, straight up. Not the most common position 4 we see these days. It is something that Peter is comfortable playing in a position 5 role, so that's probably partially why they're picking it. There's not a lot of melee supports you can get away with, and you can see how it will be a counter to the Pango, right? You get one good Ice Shards in to just kind of bust up his pattern during the ultimate, and that could completely ruin him too. And you start off your draft with a good BKB Piercer, a solid lane player who can, maybe be in lane with someone like an Ember Spirit if he's on the side lane again, and you just snowball in there with the Flame Guard, and someone can just be dead. So, pretty interesting opener here. And then the Bane. Some teams still like Undying, but I guess when you've already seen the Ember and the Tusk, they're more so thinking about having that BKB piercing control in the Fiend's grip.
Exactly. And I think that's the nice thing about Tusk in his current state. He still is that pretty versatile support where he can be very aggressive. He still has a save with the snowball. He's still got a blockade type ability. Very versatile and can get a lot done. So I'm into it. I've got some confidence in the Tusk. There's that puck you were talking about, my friend, banned out 4th by Fnatic.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's really a treat to watch, honestly. If you want to watch a really sad Pango player, just check out any of the games from the minor where there was a puck picked against them, and you are completely worthless. So definitely an unnecessary ban here. I remember we had some Otter bans last game. I feel like wasn't there like a Lycan ban in the first phase? Yeah, and that's still in. Fnatic had removed it. I guess maybe just because it's like such a 3-3 classic, and we saw a couple teams pull it out at the minor. So we'll see if NIP find a way to sneak it in here in the second phase, or if they feel like it'll be valuable.
I think Lycan for me also fits in that category of heroes that, if played well, is very difficult and not fun to play against. He kind of stars the map. He hits these break points. If you make mistakes, he punishes them way harder than most other heroes, especially pretty early on. So I'm with it. No qualms about a Lycan ban.
Did we have a Shaman ban last game? We didn't, right? That's kind of interesting. Shadow Shaman was a fantastic hero as of late, even with the nerf to the Shackle cooldown. It sucks, obviously, but it's still a very strong hero. He really helps you secure objectives when you have any sort of an advantage, or even if you're a little behind, you can kind of play on your own. Maybe get a tower down or rat a little bit.
So let's see
Void
here.
ban.
Last match, the opening bans were Pango, Lesh, Lifestealer, and on the other side, it was the Bat Rider, Chen, and Lycan. So,
Jeez, if I'm PPD right now and I see that Faceless Void ban, I'm like going back through their games to see what the hell they picked after. So I see they also banned Faceless Void in a couple of games. Both times they had Jug. They ended up going for an OD, a Timber. They've really put a lot of stock in this Void. They were just banning Void throughout all of Katowice, it looks like. That is really interesting.
huh.
Just
Yeah,
not
sure what to
something
make
we
of
see
that.
too often right now.
Looks like NIP might be contemplating, similar to we are, chewing through some of that reserve time right now. Deciding
Yeah,
what
you
to
just
do with their
you want to
fifth
know
ban.
like, okay, why'd they just do that, right?
Yeah.
Because the Void isn't particularly great with Ember Spirit. So if I see that ban, all I'm thinking is just like, okay, what have they been picking after they banned Void and all these other,
Yeah.
right?
It's also not particularly good with Tusk or anything either.
No. So like something up the sleeve there, one would think. Or it's just some great mind games here from Fnatic, perhaps. And they just say, like, yeah, it's just a strong hero. I mean, it's kind of like Doom in that regard of just, like, it does counter stuff. And, yeah, they'll ban the Jug because that has been a go-to for them with the Void ban. So Peter, he's doing his work. He's got those drafts out.
Oh, Grimstroke now for NIP. Okay. I mean, isn't there a degree
Oh, the
of...
3-3 Doom is coming, baby.
I mean, Void is good against Pango, though, right? Isn't Chronosphere kind of like
it's okay.
a stopper there?
But I mean, that's like all ultis, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But,
that's, with that logic,
mean-
that you could pretty much justify banning almost any hero.
10 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
NIP are definitely picking 3-3 Doom next, though, right? There's no way that this next pick is not Doom for NIP. I would be very surprised. Just screams Doom pick. Like, Inkswell is so good on Doom. He just runs at people. He's got all the HP regen. Of course, you've all seen Soulbind Doom. It's the bee's knees.
Yep.
And they
like
take
it.
the Grimstroke, too, because they still have options, obviously. Like, if the Doom looks bad after this pick, they can always go back. There's still Beastmaster that they like to play as well and works really well with the Soulbind. Yeah, the Walrus Punch does not work, though, unfortunately. As great as that would be.
Is that because it's like an auto cast? It like buffs up
Right,
his
because it's an attack
auto
modifier.
attack. Yeah. That makes sense. Keeper of the Light now for Fnatic.
Look
and
how fast that dude.
immediate.
Like, just like, we're
Immediate.
not wasting any time here. Yeah. I mean, they love the Doom. It's a good hero. It's pretty good versus Pango as well. Doesn't hurt to have this guy.
Team banned.
But, yeah, they said, yeah, we knew. Yeah, we know. I mean, we're not stupid. We understand what's happening. Why take some Spell Shield? What do you think about that? Block and reflect.
Well, hey.
Gotta
Now
be
we're
careful
really
about that
onto
one.
something. Set it and forget it, baby.
Mm-hmm. So now what, though? They have the 9th pick. They still have the option of putting the Pangolier mid.
10 seconds
But
remaining.
NIP are in a good spot because they have the possibility of mid Ember or side lane Ember, and then they can
5
just pick a
seconds
carry or a mid
remaining.
in their last spot. Likely they'll end up picking a mid to match whatever Fnatic end up taking. Which means there's kind of a burden to take something a little bit safer for your mid lane. The OD is still in the game. It's fairly good versus the Ember. I don't really see a lot of great options versus the OD here.
Fanatics turn
They'll
to
ban the
fan.
Monkey, though.
Alright.
Definitely someone that can absolutely body Ember in the mid, so that's a fine ban, too.
Yeah.
This would be a really good Kunkka game if Kunkka wasn't absolutely demolished. That hero is just gone, never to be played mid again.
Poor Kunkka.
Yeah.
There's a degree
That's
of
all right.
confidence going anti-mage into Doom. I understand it's a different equation now with the spell
10
reflect, but it's just
remaining.
interesting seeing that because it always seemed like Doom was one of the scarier heroes
5
into the
seconds
fragile
remaining.
anti-mage, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong.
It's interesting how those mechanics change over time. Final ban from Fnatic. This is a tough one to call. I really don't know what NIP want with this 5th pick. I imagine something
it'll-
ranged.
It'll mostly depend on what they're picking. Like, they want to protect something. I feel like they might take Troll. Troll looks kind of okay. I mean, we kind of threw him out there last game, but again, it looks... I don't think AM can solo carry this game. And assuming this is an Ice Pango, which would be foolish not to, I feel like maybe they're going to put Ovid on something even more playmaker heavy, but I definitely want at least a little bit of right-click gameplay.
Well,
Because
Fnatic
Pango's going to be
down
like
the
all
wire.
utility. And Troll doesn't really have that many. Like, he can get through most matchups.
Fnatic's turn
Huskar. Does Fnatic ever meepo these days? What's the current state of the meepo?
It's mostly just Gambit with Dahak.
Okay.
They take the Necro. Okay. So another BKB Pierce.
They needed somebody to finish off kills. So I think Necro is really good in that regard. Makes their backline, like they've got these 3 spellcasters that are a little squishy early on, and against like a Tusk and a Grimstroke Doom that are going to be charging towards that Coddle Bane. Might not be the most fun in the lanes for Fnatic, but I see the Necro pick tying things together.
Yeah.
Some.
I have not been blessed with many Fnatic game as of late, and I'm kind of wondering if this will end up being for an Abed AM. I don't know. It feels like it just might be one of those kind of games. They've also put Ice mid on the Pango before, which is what makes me wonder if they'll. I mean, it all depends, right? It depends on this last pick, but I wouldn't be too surprised because it just doesn't that kind of feel like an Abed hero.
Yeah.
Compared to like MP's super stable and everything, but do you really want Abed just on like a Necrophos?
I hear you. High skill cap, mobile, play sort of a different style, but
Kind of insulting when I say it like that, I guess. I'm not to say that MP's a bad player, but I don't know. Just curious.
PA. Now for NIP. All right, some big damage. So they grab another melee. 4 melee heroes here.
And it's going to be an Abed Animage. All right. I'm into it.
Good call, my friend. Good call.
I wonder how many times he's done this. Let's see. Not too many by the looks of it. Where is it? Can't even find it. Has he ever played it? There we go. He's played it 7 times. All right. So 2 months ago, he played a game on it. All right.
I kind of like this PA pick, though. I feel like outside of Necro ult, Bane ult, you know, they do have some lockdown. BKB is not your end-all, be-all, but I think PA has a lot of leeway this game, generally speaking. Not a lot of conventional, like, just spammable stuns, relatively difficult initiations unless jabs is in, like, god-tier positions.
Yeah, it has an interesting dynamic with the anti-mage as well, right? Where like early game, PA definitely has the edge. It's hard for the anti-mage to really do a whole lot about her, but as the game goes later and later, anti-mage just kind of does his thing. He's going to out-itemize you on the PA, and he's going to be able to, like, he can just straight up purchase options to, like, ruin your game as the PA. So in the end game, anti-mage does become victorious, but there is a pretty large window for the PA, and this is a great PA game. They kind of just went like they got a little greedy, I would say, with this AM and like Pango Necro, and I feel like NIP are just trying to match that greed. So it's like a sick game for PPD. Huge Inkswell possibilities in this one, like putting it on the Doom, putting it on the PA, putting it on the Tusk, putting it on the Ember. Like all 4 of his heroes will just go in, which is really cool. It's like the exact opposite of last game for NIP, where no one wanted to go in, and now it's basically they're all just diving into the fray.
And I like that they've, even though I was thinking they might go with a ranged hero, I like that they've got this kind of beefy front line in the Tusk and the Doom that can break things up and create some chaos, and then PA can, in theory, come in and play more that cleanup role. I think games where you've only got one other melee hero and PA is sort of forced to play that front line or a little bit more than she'd like is when you start running into trouble. Why is my auto-spectate not working here, Trent?
You have to re-enable it every time.
I just did, and it still is not working.
Huh.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
Derp. Different hotkey. There we go. I'm good.
There you go.
And by the way, folks, my Dota Plus subscription is still continuing because of those free days they gave us. Somebody just played around with my hotkeys, so we've got win probability back, baby.
Hell yeah. Well, phew, look at that. It's all over. Fnatic. 52%.
Already. 52%.
Loving the draft.
Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Some deep scouting from Ice Ice Ice. We'll kind of bump into the Doom.
Yeah, wants to see these lanes. The lane game is like mid-AM. It is not. It is actually, they've set the MP Necrophos heading mid based off of their assumption that it will be the Ember, and they will be correct.
And that was the other
Maybe
switcheroo.
they think it's the PA.
It's going to be Ace on the PA, and now this is going to be Fada's Ember Spirit instead.
The battle begins.
Yeah, be a little bit more of a playmaker style, more of that like super active mid one perhaps than the high octane damage. I mean, I guess the playmaker is very high octane too, but you wind up with an Aeon just some games versus a Mjolnir. But we'll see where he winds up in this game. Able to pressure Ice into the level 1 swashbuckle as he was making some lane rotations, and they're gonna wait for him because they know he wants to come down bottom. They're gonna make him walk the long way around.
This is pretty nice. They've got the high ground advantage
greed,
as well.
Dude.
A couple of
He's
love
like,
taps.
Are you serious? Could you not? And he's the TP bot if he wants to get there. In fact, Sox is already TPing to the top lane as the long walk there from Ace means they missed out on quite a bit of XP.
DPD kind of hanging out mid, throws some damage into MP, but then Ice rotates over and is finally able to make his way down towards the bottom lane. If that's what he wants, actually heading back towards mid, just trying to keep MP safe from harassment, and will finally TP down bottom. That's Abed, I'm sorry. So full lane rotations now. AM
Yeah, we are all over the place.
way down bottom, and the Pango will head up top.
Man, no complaints from DJ. What a hero to get a free couple of waves on, eh? The Coddle straight off the start. Very nice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So currently the Dire still have their TPs. If they want to mix these lanes back up, they can. I guess both supports did TP, though, is the only problem. So Ace, even though he's been up here the whole time, is kind of stuck, despite saving his TP with that walk. So it's almost like he wasted the fact that he didn't TP for that first wave, because he can't make the rotation either way because of his supports losing their TPs.
Well, and now we'll see DJ TP up towards the top shrine. Maybe go
Just
for
in time
a
for the
stack
stack.
here.
Yeah.
Looking for
See
the
if
double.
he, connects them both. Should be able to.
See if he gets it.
This guy has like the longest leash, that camp. It is so crazy. Oh, what? I wasn't even close to the shrine. Oh, my bad, other casters.
Ice able to swashbuckle back to safety. No problem there. As now Coddle just comes in. Why don't I clear out this pole camp? No big deal.
The rune of regeneration.
The nuisance Coddle is what I like to call this.
Yeah, grabs the wave, kills the small creep. And do they have the shards? They do if they want them, but he's going the long way around, which should keep him alive. Just ditch the creep wave and keep alive.
Pango should be okay here. He'll kind of get sandwiched, but nice and mobile. Jumps back to safety.
His XP's not looking too hot, though, is it? Oh, there we go. Follow Ace is into it, too. He's pinging the shrines.
So how's this mid lane? Ember on Necro. Dead even. 14-2 on each.
just hanging out, you know?
Small edge for the Ember, it looks like, in terms of experience. I think MP had a couple of leechers in those first few levels, but
Yeah, he did.
very small edge.
Ice just hanging around, basically, but yeah, relatively even. And it is Radiant side for the Necrophos, too, so he is that camp that he can potentially work with. But this ward helping a lot, too, just to make sure that Fada doesn't run into any problems if it ends up on MP's high ground.
Definitely a disparity in the offlaners here, though. The Doom having a presence in that lane, and Ice unable to do much with this Pango. He's been able to survive, and I suppose you could call that a victory, but you can see these supports pretty unrelenting here and keeping him pretty far off the creep wave. Meanwhile, Doom down bottom, intercepting this pull from Jabs, almost level 4. He's feeling pretty all right.
Yeah, Sox is going to come up here and be like, what is this Coddle doing? He's going to see all these stacks, and he's like, what do we do about this? I mean, the Ember is definitely a hero that can contest these. They might even steal a couple. Yeah, PPD is just going to throw out the stroke of fate here, and they're going to take themselves a couple ogres.
Double damage.
Not too bad.
Oh, DD for Jabs. Forced to use the Scorched Earth. Something that a lot of Dooms don't really like leveling all too early.
Yep, going for that fourth
I think
point
he
in Infernal
just
Blade.
skilled that. Yeah, I think he just took that so that he could survive here, so he really needs to make sure he survives.
think
It
he's-
looks like he'll be okay.
Good. Jabs is going pretty deep, but
Tries a stick drop. You know, maybe that could tease him out, but he's not going to fall for it.
lane Fada takes some damage from the Necro. Still a very even mid matchup, and all the while up top, it's Ice with a TP from the tree line, knowing his limits, just trying to survive.
And DJ's about to clear up a nice stack here. This is pretty slow because he only has the 1 point in Chakra. And he even has a retreat from the 5-minute bounty. Ouch. and they're coming in here. They're just ignoring the runes, making sure that he can't get a stack off. So DJ real upset at the moment.
And trying to finish off a couple of these creeps. Looks like they'll get the Wild Wing. Just maybe. Ice, Ice, Ice jumps in. Hits the Shrine. Grabs himself a little bit more mana, but I don't think they'll be able to pursue for a kill, especially with Fada nearby on the low ground. Not going to pursue.
So Fada just got a regen rune and then a bounty rune as well. I'd say he's feeling pretty good returning to that mid lane.
Yeah,
But there's the benefits of Radiant side, right? This lovely camp for the Necrophos. That sure is something.
oh wow, even
Not
gets
sure how
a
that's
couple of
still a
golems
thing.
there too. Yeah, that's real nice.
We need like a cliff here or something. I don't know.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Camp is just way too good. So 3-3 has just been everywhere, man. He's done the walk back. He went up top. He's in the jungle. Now he's back defending his tower, and he's level 5. Although Jab's only level 2. Oh my god, he's so close to level 6. He just needs one creep. They could brain sap this creep for the XP, honestly, and get this kill.
Well, not quite. Back to farming we go. 6 minutes, no first blood. Game of farming. Level 6s have come out in the mid. Necro actually skipping his ult. Grabs that third point in the Heartstopper.
Yeah, no rotations for him this game, right? You have a Coddle that's farming very greedily, and you have Jabs that's just stuck on 3-3, and, well, probably in the grave here. There's a couple heroes around him.
Ice Shard's going to make that one difficult, and Fada will venture his way over for a first blood. 300 gold for him.
That was
Definitely
first
making
blood?
that rotation worth it.
I didn't even realize that there actually been no kills this whole time.
Yep.
It's been a slow burn.
After that last game, both teams just taking it steady, stacking up. PPD taking some damage here. Actually clipped by the Illuminate as Ace jumps back in. It's a level 5 PA. A lot of damage onto this Pangolier, and that's going to be the end of him. Ace dings level 6 and gets the second kill of the game up for NIP.
Well, things starting out pretty well for them. Already got a slight edge on the net worth. Of course, they always have to be thinking about Abed on this Anti-Mage. The old ticking time bomb here. And I wonder what Ace is going to go for this game. He hasn't queued anything up. I have Inkswell, I have Doom, I have Ember. I don't think I want a Battle Fury this game. But then you run into the problem of, like, if you don't go Battle Fury and you lose or come out just a little ahead in the early game, you're going to be worse. And you're going to start throwing bodies at high ground. And what are you going high ground into? Keeper of the Light and Pango. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
Like, they can just clear the wave so hard, and yeah, Ace Qs it right up. I think you are kind of forced into this Battle Fury. It's like, in a vacuum, I really just want to start slaying people with Inkswell and playing with my Doom and my Ember, but in reality, it's going to be so hard to push high ground that the risk is just too great to not go Battle Fury this game.
I would agree. I think PA is one of those carries where if the situation is right, it can absolutely be the right item because sometimes she needs that accelerant through the mid game. A lot of times kills aren't even enough, where if you get a couple of kills, you're 5, 1, and 3 or something, that's where the other team starts to clam up, play a little more defensive, and it gets way harder to keep up that momentum. With the Battle Fury, you can get those kills, and then if the other team plays defensive, you've just got more map to farm, and your economy is healthier than ever. Looking like a go on to Jabs there in the mid, but not going to be a kill for NIP. Either way, with that early kill in this kind of space in lane, PA is off to a great start farming ahead of the Anti-Mage so far.
Yeah, and she has the Ember, right? Like, Fada's job is basically to be that mid-game playmaker and someone who's actively involved in the fights, so that's what you would be looking for if you went for this, like, Deso Vlad's build or something on the PA.
Mm-hmm.
Couple remnants just chilling at that camp there. Oh, no, just one remnant, one really wide stanced remnant, as PPD will hang out around it. He's kind of threatening the fact that his Ember could show up.
Leeching a little XP here from this level 8 Necro. Holy Locket queued up.
Got him. Yeah, the locking into Greaves is something else, man. This Necro just becomes unkillable.
I actually kind of forgot about Holy Locket. It's been a while since I've seen somebody buy that thing.
It's pretty much just Timber and Necrophos, really, that pick it up.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of heroes just jumping to do it, but it's got a great build-up for Necrophos to get your Arcanes, and then you disassemble for the Locket, and then you go back for more Arcanes to go into your Greaves.
Definitely an item that feels like it was kind of designed for Necrophos. Can't argue that one.
Well, 10-minute bounties. Ace was not on point there, and probably for the best that he didn't get over there because he's going to be zoned by Ice, who's still level 4, but able to threaten with the help of his friends, and they will get both the bounties up top, but likewise bottom are taken by NIP.
And in the recurring theme here for the bounties, Jab's now in the mid. Some nice ice shards to block him out. Nightmare onto Soxa. Might buy him just enough time to survive, and a death pulse from MP will help pick him back up. And again, no kill for Nip here in the mid.
Jeez. Peter has been level 3 for like 5 minutes. Ever since they got that kill on the Pango up
Well,
top,
he's
he was
level 4.
1-1-1. Okay, he just got 4. All right, fair. But so right after that top play where they missed the double bounties, Ace immediately TP'd bottom. And he was hoping that someone would TP and try and stop 3-3. But once that wasn't going to happen, they just pulled the wave into the camp, and now he's just farming that all up.
Yeah, both supports on the Radiant having a slightly better go. Coddle getting a lot of space. And they've actually given some room to Bane in the mid so that he could get some extra experience. And he'll now hit level 6 as he consumes the tome, it looked like. Fiend's Grip online. Maybe looking for a setup onto PPD. Some rotations from both sides now. NIP in the jungle. They find Ice, but he's able to make it away. Ice shards, and he'll just jump right over.
Oh, the tree! He cut the... I guess he had to cut both anyway, so he was just kind of screwed. Well, I will say DJ... probably a little disappointed he couldn't hold his tower much longer, right? But they have a really good reach with the PA, especially in the early game, because he doesn't have that blinding light. So he should be able to hold this tier 2 a little bit longer than the tier 1. Like, this is kind of his home now, right? And you can see Ace is really wanting to go for this instant kill. And Doom has the pack leader aura, too.
It needs to be a little careful. Doom past level 6, has the ultimate. Also a Midas, so now Drum of Endurance going to be on the way for him. Actually working on a pretty decent economy as an offlaner, just barely behind that of Fada on the Ember Spirit, who's also working on a Drum of Endurance, it looks like.
Dire's middle tower is
It's going
under
to be a
attack.
double drum kind of game.
Oh, yeah. Playing the bongos.
Mm-hmm. The war cry. Got to get in their heads.
Yeah, we'll see if Fada even finishes them, honestly. But, I mean, what else are you going to buy, I guess, on this Ember? Doesn't really need to use this game.
Oh, mid lane. Looks like some initiation onto the Ember Spirit. Fiend's Grip going to catch him into a Reaper's Scythe. Great combination of ultimates. And an easy kill for Fnatic. They'll get themselves up on the scoreboard. The nice kill on the enemy mid laner.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I do wonder if it's going to be an A on this kind of game, though. Because it kind of feels like one of those, right? Fiend's Grip, Scythe, getting dunked by the AM.
Yeah.
I mean, that mid 1 build has certainly paid off before in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But it all just depends on how farmed you wind up after like 20 minutes or so, which path you end up taking. 3-3 just straight up walks into Abed in the mid lane, who misses the counter spell. Oh, actually, it probably just doesn't even work, right? He tried to use it, but I guess they took away the bonus resistance. There's no real point. Maybe we just worried about a potential Doom.
PA
Or anything else that he might have had.
having this like temporary window of godlike power. Power treads just right into the Demon Edge. Hitting very hard for this stage of the game. Able to skip the regen pieces. That kind of speaks to how little pressure has been on the PA now.
Yeah, very true.
800 or 900 gold ahead of the AM. It's pretty nice at 13 minutes.
Max farming, especially because the AM's been sharing his jungle at least a little bit in the Coddle. Like, he had some stacks made, but then he just takes them all.
Yeah, and like vice versa, right? He's been forced into the Perseverance first, which makes sense on AM. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you know, he needs that regeneration. Can't really go for that Demon Edge first.
Oh, goodbye wave. DJ just blasting him down. Already has his Glimmer, so he's very survivable by himself. I'd like to see some dust picked up soon. It's already queued on Soxa, so he's got it on the mine, and Peter going to have to grab some too.
Holy Locket now out on the Necrophos as we take a look at overall items. Not too much else has been picked up. Tome still hanging out for PPD.
Hey, did you guys know there's a Pango in this game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's level 7 at least. Haven't seen any Rolling Thunder action yet.
He looks like Fada's game last game on the Necrophos, right? Where like he needs that big fight, but his team didn't come to play with him. So no one came to re-enable him back into the game. He's an anti-mage taking his jungle stacks, so he can't even swashbuckle anything. And now he's just going to be stuck farming towards a Blink Dagger. Like, he still hasn't ulted. He doesn't have any kills.
Dire are scanning.
He's only died once, though, which I think is
I mean, sometimes it's worth dying. You know, sometimes you just got to be a little moon meander and get up in their faces or something. At least make something happen.
True. Smoke rotation now from NIP. They jump in onto Jabs, but he gets off a Fiend's Grip the other way. Snowball mitigates a lot of damage as the Rolling Thunder finally gets deployed. Beautiful Will-O-Wisp from the Keeper of the Light. PPD almost goes down, survives on just a tick of HP. They have only lost their Tusk so far, but NIP very low on resources. They're going to be forced back as Fnatic go back to their own shrine and heal up.
See, all you gotta do is bring up the flamethrower a little bit, and Ice will show up.
Gets a nice roll through there, combos onto PPD twice, bounces off the little blue crystals there, and had, second highest damage I put in that fight, so carrying on through. But yeah, as you said, it was only a Tusk, but it was the Dire playing aggressive, but at least they were able to force rotations, I guess, and Abed didn't have to join, so I'm going to call that Fnatic win because they've managed to get their Battle Furies at the same time.
All right.
You know, Mega versus Mega, Battle Fury versus Battle Fury. I hope you guys don't have a lot on your schedules today.
It's the mirror matchup. The unstoppable force meets the immovable object. And this is what you get. Silence onto Bane. It'll be a tough survival here as PA throws the dagger, jumps in, and Fada says, guys, we're going high ground. I found me a Necrophos, Searing Chains. That's a dagger again.
Pound the war drums.
Doing what he can, but uh-oh. Doom has the ultimate, and this Necro is done for. They've dusted him. They've brought him down. It's a double kill for Ace. Make it another one as they bring down DJ. Fada will get credit for that, but PA erupting off the pickup of that Battle Fury with a couple of kills and more momentum for the team.
Great catch there from NIP. Very explosive. Like, it all starts with nothing but a pick off onto a Bane, and then suddenly there's a Searing Change to the high ground, then a little bit of Save Your Buddy syndrome for DJ as he goes in for the Glimmer on the Necrophos. And
PPD, whoa, that's a pinata. And one that Abed will be able to blow into oblivion. Now back to the mid. Snowball in onto Jabs. Does have some friends nearby, but not going to be enough to save him. Now a Rolling Thunder. Abed also making the rotation, looking for a counter kill on Doom, perhaps. They knock him back up to the high ground. Rolling Thunder doing some work. Silence to follow up, and that'll be the end of 33. Fnatic grab another 4-6. Still NIP holding on to the lead as Fnatic clear out a nice double stack of Ancients there.
man, Ice is so good at those angles off the wall. Like, he knows them all. You know, he just played this hero so many times that it's such a stark contrast to people that are just starting to pick up Pango, where he finds these angles that like you didn't even know were possible off these tiny little curves and crevices, and he's able to perfectly combo it into like triple stuns like that.
And that's where, I mean, we saw the Necro recover last game partially because of Scythe, but I think Pango also fits the bill for when you get sacrificed a little. Just takes one good fight. You do so much AoE damage, it's almost hard not to get some assists or some kills when you're in the fray like that.
Yeah.
Ice makes it look easy, to be fair, but I think Pango is well suited to try to make that sort of recovery compared to a lot of other offlaners.
And he's just spoke at his Blink Dagger here too, and of course a lot of his game was also sacked for the Coddle, who they were giving those dead lanes to, where that's typically kind of Pango's job to sit there with Swashbuckle.
And he's got some items to show for it. He's got the Glimmer Cape and very close to a Force Staff, just 100 gold away. Two great utility support items that will help his friends as much as himself.
Yeah, he needs the levels too, though. I'd like to see him try and get to 12.
Yeah,
I mean, not bad. He's at 9, and then he can go for the XP talent too.
Highest of the supports right now, so definitely feeling that difference comparatively. Up top, Ice going to get bumped into. Swashbuckle away. Shield Crash just coming off cooldown. Does have a Rolling Thunder here. No teammates inbound. Walrus Punch kind of catches him. Now silenced. PPD with great positioning. That'll be a kill on the Pango. Very nice. I think Ice playing just a little too cocky there, not quite anticipating that Grimstroke.
MP's just running through the river here. This guy's crazy.
Abed in the front lines. Ooh, Fiend's Grip on top of the Doom. He was just about to cast that ultimate, but now Jabs gets jumped on. Will-O-Wisp connects on 3, but the Doom comes out onto the Keeper of the Light. That'll be 3 down on the side of Fnatic, including that Pango from up top.
I guess they thought maybe they were gonna, like, there were more heroes up top going for a push or something, but that was basically Jabs just like baiting himself, because he gets off the Enfeeble and then he really wants to grip because of the status resistance reduction. He's like, oh my god, I'm gonna have like the longest grip ever, like this Doom's so dead. But unless you're instantly covered by the Coddle, there's no way it's gonna happen. You saw DJ was just a little bit too late there on the Will-O-Wisp, who just got blown up by Ace,
Right?
who is almost into Desto. Holy. I mean, I guess it's just you accelerate so much faster because the AM needs that Manta as the secondary power spike, whereas the Deso comes quicker.
And the Deso
It's done.
gives you like a little more, it feels like, in terms of that explosion. Abed, he blinks in for the bounty. He gets it, but it costs him everything. Now can they get some counter kills? Reaper Scythe following up that Rolling Thunder does bring down Saksa, and now Doom gets disarmed, silenced, knocked back. The Doombringer is on the run. He's fast and beefy. Do they have the damage? TP from inside the pit. Good try from 33, but not going to happen.
Man.
Radiant's bottom
Ice
tower
just, there were some bad Pango players at the minor, I'll be frank. There were people who clearly had not played this hero
are
enough.
fortified.
And it was pretty disappointing, honestly. But then you watch Ice, and it really is an incredible difference.
Nice lead for NIP still, despite those couple of kills. Again, they traded the anti-mage for those two, so in the end, not too shabby. PA now looking towards the BKB. Already has Mithril Hammer gold. 2,500, she's going to be a magic immunity. Mid lane, now we're going to see a setup. Jabs in a lot of trouble, gets brought down. 4-0-2 on this Phantom Assassin. Bottom, Saksa
Dire's bottom
sees
tower
Ice in the
is
trees.
under
Blink
attack.
Dagger is up now, so Pango much harder to track
Radiant's
down.
middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
It looks like Fada's just gonna
So just barely
chipping away
outside the
there.
scan.
So
Yep.
yeah, he should be all right. So he's gonna be the Spirit Vessel buyer this game. Eh? Oh, he goes for the next wave. The danger plan. There's only one way to go.
Okay. I thought we might see a more defensive movement there, but
Damn.
Doom's on
3-3,
cooldown, guys.
dude. He knew. He's just like, there's no way this guy's gone. The scan
Oh, no.
misses.
Look at this up top. Abed, they knew he was going to blink into that camp. They catch him as soon as he blinks, and it's an easy kill. That was a sick bait, dude. They were fucking ready and waiting for that.
Yeah, that comes from that ward vision up ahead, right? Like near the tower and everything, kind of like spotting these farming patterns. And there is a sentry. They're going to catch this fresh observer ward just placed down from Jabs. Peter's just holding this tome.
See, there's the Reaper Scythe on top of the Illuminate, and they'll add a few extra seconds to that death timer. So more kills being exchanged back and forth, but in just a couple of minutes, look at the difference between the PA and the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage has died twice. PA has just had run of the map and picked up a kill, and now there is a 3K net worth difference. It's going to be 4 before too long.
And so what's stopping them from Roche right now? The Will-O-Wisp, pretty big. The Pango, massive with the Blink Dagger. And even just like the mech and the Holy Locket. So yeah, I guess kind of everything. Everything on the side of Fnatic is really good at fighting around the Roche pit. They just don't necessarily take it that quickly. And then vice versa, NIP kind of have nothing that fights well around the pit. Like Ice Shards is like their best ability, honestly.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have very mobile heroes in the PA and the Ember is also nice, but overall, as much as they'd love to have the Aegis, it just looks like it would be kind of potentially throwing away their lead if they went for it without a massive numbers advantage, like after a big wipe or something. And there's also still a tier 1 mid and a tier 1 top. So this often winds up being the problem with Ember Spirit drafts. We saw this a lot of times with the Minor, once again, because there were so many Ember Spirits. But this hero gets picked up early. He gets forced to the side lane sometimes. In this case, he was mid. But you often run up with no tower hitters. And that's kind of the case here, right? Especially with a Coddle, who's able to hold back for so long.
Yeah, no doubt. They do have that Deso, though, so if they get some pickoffs, I think Roche is a possibility, but you're right. They're not really
Like, look at that.
5v5 focused as much as pickoff focused.
Their creeps are just gone. I mean, tier 1s, you can honestly just backdoor. Like, I'm fine with just throwing the Doom at this. Yeah, I like this. Just screw it.
But look at
Just
this.
let Doom get hit.
Double damage up top. This could be big. NIP, it looks like there was no vision for Fnatic, so they won't see this on the Ember. They jump in with the Rolling Boulder. This is the 10-second BKB on Doom. Drops the ulti onto Necro, and now Snowball onto DJ. MP's gone down first. They're going to leave the next one alive. Coddle falls, and Jabs will have nowhere to go. The Will-O-Wisp, well placed, but not even close to enough, and it's a 4-0. The only one that survives is the AM, pretty much because he wasn't there.
So, you know how this whole game I've just been praising the hell out of the Ice Pango? He just missed one chain on that stun. So he wasn't close enough to get the secondary stun on the Doom. Doom instantly pops BKB. PVD hits the Soul Bind. You get a double Doom on the two best targets, the Pango and the Necrophos. Like, honestly, the aim just doesn't do enough at this point to even worry about him. And that fight was just over in an instant. The moment that Doom came down. And that kind of shows some of the issues with Pango, honestly, is that it is really flashy and neat, but you just miss a little moment like that. And, well, frankly, like, who's going to follow up from that chain stun anyway? They don't really have the damage to burst down someone as tanky as 3-3 BKB or not.
Yeah, it seems like one of those fights that...
Shadow Blade?
Say again?
He's almost into a Shadow Blade. He's actually the second highest farmed hero. I didn't even realize he's, like, above the AM now. All right, he's actually skipping the Shadow Blade, just thinking straight AC.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that early lane was just him down bottom versus the AM. He farmed as well. Now initiation, Fiend's Grip does counter the Ember Spirit, but he's got friends nearby. Or does he? He'll be the first one to go down after jabs. The pop from Anti-Mage, but do they have any more? Fnatic perhaps running out of gas in the tank. MP getting very low as they try to commit. They can't quite finish off this Necro. They do get Ice, 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 however. BKB used by Doom. Does turn for a kill onto Saksa, and that'll give MP the reset to at least make it up towards his high ground. Now AM, he's trying to fight. He's doing what he can, but a 1,400 crit brings him damn low. NIP will just back out, not going to press their luck. There was still a tier 1 up in that lane, so that was actually a pretty big dive into the tier 2.
Almost the tier 3s.
But still Aegis on the PA, so maybe a bit safer than it seemed. Fnatic actually get a big gold gain out of that trade.
Yeah, losing the Ember, right? Especially the fact that it went on the AM is pretty huge for them. He's now starting to claw his way back towards the Doom status here. But PA also has a Basher on the way on the Courier, so perhaps thinking about a couple solo picks here.
It was a really good Fiend's Grip from Jabs in that fight to counter-initiate on the Ember. I thought it would get interrupted almost immediately, but he got a pretty long channel there.
Yeah, he's almost 12 now, too.
Still very poor.
Yeah, true. But it's a Bane, you know. That's how she goes.
Yeah, no doubt. PA level 21. AM also now 20. He's hanging in there despite getting out farmed. Do you think Scotty is the right choice for Abed up next? That's what he's got queued up.
Scotty, eh? Pretty good versus the PA. I mean, I guess what else? He definitely needs some sort of mid-tier item. Like, I don't know. He needs some sort of like, what's the, like offensive and defensive item, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, an item that does a little bit of both, right? Because he can't go full out aggression or he'll just get blown up by this PA or he'll just get doomed. And he can't go full on defensive or his team doesn't have enough damage. So Scotty is just that, like, middle ground item where, like, it helps. It's definitely a little more defensive focused, but it also helps a little bit in the actual offensive battle.
Yeah. It just gives you a little extra meat, some buffer against those big crits. Okay. I see it. Bane, unfortunately, feeling the fury of this PA, and you know, we have to be wondering, will Ace actually take a tumble this game? This PA is balling pretty hard right now, and even with this Aegis gone, I mean, his burst damage is just so insane. I'd say like half of this Fnatic team is just food against the PA.
Yeah, and I guess the other item will be a butterfly, right? If you're Abed, but his logic, I assume, is that, oh, they're going to know exactly where he is right now. Oh, 3D's not going to finish the TP. All right. The other item would be Butterfly, but then he's still pretty vulnerable to the magic damage. Wow, that was a very fast death.
Wowzers.
On Ice, I looked away for 2 seconds, and Ace is godlike.
You know, I've said before you blink and you miss it, but I actually blinked and missed that one. He just jumped in and full to 0. They're going to go high ground now. No buyback on Ice. He is short gold, and quite a bit of it. That's their glyph. This is going to be a difficult high ground defense. Tier 3's already gone down. Remember, with that Deso, they siege really quickly here.
He got hit for 1277. Took 2 hits from the PA.
There you go. Backdoor protection kicks in for a second or two, but not enough to save the melee barracks. Ranged will also fall, and NIP, they just back out. Tier 2 standing in both side lanes. Abed just continuing to farm as best he can around the map. 5K behind the PA now, and just finally gets enough gold for that Scotty.
So they'll probably just be content with their 1 lane of racks here. Well, actually, they're going to go here again. This is a bit dangerous. Only 30 seconds left on the Aegis. I mean, obviously, he's so far ahead right now on Ace, and not just on Ace. Like, the other 2 cores are pretty farmed as well. But if there was a moment for Fnatic, this might be it. try and catch like a smoke into Ace or something as the Aegis is expiring. But he's pretty well guarded right now by his allies.
It's also a 10-second BKB on the Ember.
Oh, yeah.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
2 BKBs now. 9-second left on PA. I am looking at Abyssal Blade next.
And they rotated everyone bottom just in case there was a bounty rune engagement. Because it looked like there were going to be a couple heroes down there, but they'll just end up retreating.
And Ace.
Well, they're bringing the smoke. Who do you kill right now as Fnatic is the real question. I guess PA only has 2k HP. Can they burst her down? It is possible.
Yep.
If they manage to get the Scythe on her and the AM jumps and maybe with the Pango, it can be done.
She's killable. I think grabbing Doom is definitely not bad. Breaking up that combo for the potential double Doom, and he's their big front liner that's charging in to start a lot of these engagements.
They're going to smoke up, actually. She just got her Satanic, too, though, so now she's up to 2,400 HP. And then that status resistance is pretty brutal. 30% sitting on her.
There it is.
Give her an Ink Swell and let her fly.
200% for 5 seconds. That's a lot of lifesteal for a pretty long duration if you're fighting against that PA.
Yeah, especially when you hit for 1,200.
Yeah, yeah. Here we go, right in onto the Necro. Follow-up damage, not quite enough, but that last crit will be. Will-O-Wisp going to do some work, but Snowball again just pulls him right out of it. Into the Bane, that's 2 down, no buybacks, 5v3. Trying to make this next hold. Now they found the Pangolier.
All right, well, Dota's a great game, you know. It's something else.
Pango trying to pull him as far away from his base as possible, but Fada's got a sleight of fist for the kill. The tier 2 has fallen up top, so they can just push in mid and grab that lane of barracks. Still a tier 2 standing bottom, though. Not going to be able to get Megas off this push.
No, but easy second lane. Not even a worry.
This one's got to be
I would
fairly
not fault
close.
Fnatic to just GG out, honestly, but
I think maybe they'll hold out since that tier 2's there for one final fight. I mean, as you've mentioned a couple times now, in that ultra late game, all things kind of relatively equal, AM does surpass the PA. So they can hold out to that point. I don't know how, but if they can, I see the light at the end of the tunnel if they can make it. It's a brutal sprint, but the option's there. AM switching up his build. Looks like he wants Butterfly next instead of the Abyssal. Sitting on the high ground. This could be the opening for Fnatic. Jabs comes walking on out. Does not have a Fiend's Grip. Rest of his team not impound. There's the Pango. Abed jumps in as well, but Ace pops the BKB. This is a little bit scary. Snowball up onto the high ground trying to chase down Abed. The Pango's still here, but he gets rooted. MP's fallen. AM able to blink away. Shrine used by Ice Ice Ice. AM still has to blink even further away from the rest of his team. This is starting to feel like a backfire for Fnatic. They jump in onto Ice Ice Ice. He gets destroyed. Soxa blocks out Jabs. Looks like he's going to be going down as well. The AM lives, but it's 3 in the grave once more. Another triple for Ace, and that's it. They call the GG. They know this one's over.
Yeah, Abed will buy his Meteor Hammer for dignity purposes, of course, and will Meteor Hammer his throne to assist the Dire in the victory.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And after a back-and-forth game that puts us into to Megas versus Megas, we get a relatively one-sided affair here. 27-9, 3x the kills, and, well, about 23k net worth lead in the victory. My goodness. Yeah. They popped off, man. I think this Pango just got completely sacked. I mean, he had some great plays, sure, but if he was supposed to be running this mid-game for you, that just never happened.
Yeah. Pango, obviously a hero that likes playing from ahead, to drive the tempo, and when you can't do that, you're not playing the same Pango you want to be. Ace, though, with another standout performance, 13-0-5. Of course, an incredible supporting cast that made that possible to set it up for him, but great movements. I would say a perfect balance of farming in the jungle and joining the team. Went for the slightly riskier Battle Fury on the PA early on. Worked out like a charm. That was just a clinical performance.
I think they lost that game almost certainly when they made that play, like diving the Doom. After they went for the Enfeeble, and then they tried to Fiend's Grip him on the high ground down at that bottom rune. And I think that was just where this game looked really hard to come back from. Like, they needed a couple really good mid-game fights. and they just threw their lives into a really questionable place to fight. And then something that didn't even look like it was going to end well for them. Maybe they just felt pressured to try and get Ice back in the game, but they couldn't find a way to like force it around towers. They were just taking fights in weird spots, and NIP just felt a step ahead of them.
You know what's really crazy though, Trent? The win probability was at 0 around 25 minutes. That's how much
it was probably the server's crash, or what do you mean?
The win probability, like at 25 minutes, it was still saying like, slight advantage for Fnatic.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, that is surprising actually.
Kind of wild how much the win probability kind of favored that draft still, despite how far behind they were for most of that game. I guess it wasn't a huge gold gap, but felt like they were just never in control.
Then Abed died twice. I guess that was where it really lost it.
Yeah.
That was a pretty brutal turn of events there. Those were his only 2 deaths, but just coming so quickly in succession, and then directly after the Battle Fury.
Perfect timing.
It just put Ace way ahead of him.
Yep. All right. Well, another break, and then Game 3, Fnatic versus NIP for our opening series here in Group B. I'm Zyori, he's Trent, and we will be back after this.